All right, guys, so I kind of want to make a video. Well, I not kind of. I am going to make a video regarding the Sheduer Sanders situation. Um, Shout out to Coach Sean. I watched the content on Bama Standard regarding it, and I think that really that inspired me to kind of make this. Apologize for the background noise. I am making some breakfast, so I apologize for it. But it is what it is. Now, regarding the situation regarding Sheduer and Travis Hunter. I think it's stupid for a lot of people to kind of criticize Colorado for these jersey retirements. Hell, even Joe Klatt, who's a football player, right? He's a former football player for the University of Colorado. I completely understand somewhat of a sentiment, right? As a football player there, it's like, what did they kind of do to accomplish what they needed to do, right? They've been there in a short period of time, and you're immediately kind of retiring their jerseys. Well, I would just say this, right? First of all, these two players changed the entire projection of the program. If Sheduer Sanders wasn't the quarterback, Colorado would be a 2-3 win football program. If Travis Hunter wasn't there, I mean, let's be honest, Colorado would also be a mess. I mean, these are two players that helped transform the program to what it is today. And again, the reasoning for their athletic director kind of coming out and saying the exact same sentiment that I'm saying right now. Like, these are two, like, Colorado's program was dead in the works. Obviously, Deion Sanders is there, and I don't think they're going to build a statue right away for Deion Sanders. But, I mean, Sheduer Sanders is, from an accolade standpoint, he is the career passing touchdowns leader. He's the career passing yards leader. Career when it comes to completion percentage, pass rating, almost every single quarterback efficiency, statistical rating you could possibly think of. He is number one for Colorado. Then you look at Travis Hunter, who is the first two-way player ever on both sides of the ball full time, and not only was arguably the best at his particular positions, he was the Heisman Trophy winner. He's the first, I believe he was the first Heisman Trophy winner, or one of the Heisman Trophy winners in Colorado's history. But especially in a recent memory, like, he might have been even the most impactful player maybe since Laviska Shenault. And Laviska Shenault, even though he was an incredible college football player, let's be honest, Travis Hunter's the best player arguably in the history of that program. So, yeah, I can completely understand why they're retiring those jerseys. These two made a huge impact on the program. Now, again, Joe Klatt is a former college football player. He's going to feel some sort of way because you look at players like Cordell Stewart, right? Obviously, Colorado won a national championship, and there are some players on that national championship team that their jerseys aren't retired. Joe Klatt, before he was there, I mean, let's be honest, Joe Klatt was an okay quarterback at Colorado, but Joe Klatt left a lot of records before Sheduer broke them all. But again, when we're talking about the historical impact of what these two brought to the program, they brought Colorado to relevancy. Celebrities are going to the football games. They're the most watched. They're one of the 10 most watched football programs in the country. Since when was Colorado ever in the top 10 in terms of ratings? They're talked about a lot on ESPN, on Fox, on other YouTube, on other content creation platforms. Not just that, but in terms of social media, Travis Hunter kind of leading the way for college athletes to start streaming on these platforms such as Twitch and Kick. And obviously, we see what Sheduer Sanders is doing out there in terms of modeling and in terms of what they're doing off the field in terms of gaining a lot of recognition, money, taking full advantage of their NIL opportunities and expanding it worldwide. Like, these two players have made an impact on and off the field for their respective programs. Not to mention that they're the top of their class. They're both over 3.5 GPA students. I mean, what else do you want them to do? They're arguably the two best players or two most impactful players for that program. I can understand completely why they decided to retire those jerseys. Again, to the average college football fan, like, it's like, wow, they went like 19-22 and this crap like that. They only won 9 games once. Why the hell are they doing it? But let's be honest. If we were fans of Colorado, would we even argue it? Because a lot of the Colorado fans seem to agree with the sentiment that, yeah, their jerseys, I can understand why their jerseys are retired. Now, we can hate on Colorado, and we can hate on, and let's be honest, we can hate on the Sanders family. We can hate on Travis a lot, especially over the last couple of years. Whatever it is, what it is. But guys, we got to respect, first of all, if the fans agree to it, If the program came to a consensus, leadership came to a consensus, and they agreed to it, then why should we question? Why should we question it? Because let's be honest, as an Alabama fan, if Alabama decided to retire Tua Tagovailoa's jersey, or Bryce Young's jersey, or Will Anderson's jersey, I wouldn't be pissed off about it. If Trent Richardson, if they decided to, to say, you know what, we're gonna go back to 3 and retire 3 because of Trent Richardson, or if Tim Tebow gets, or if they decide to retire Tim, I think they already did retire Tim Tebow's jersey. Or, who else? If USC decided to came out and say, you know what, we're going to decide 13, Caleb Williams. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. We're going to retire that jersey. Would we really argue with it? Or would we just, no, I don't think a lot of us would even, as fans, would even argue with it. Because those are the best players from their respective programs. So if Sheduer and Travis are the best players from their respective programs' history, and especially, you can make an argument in terms of impact. These are the 2 most impactful players, arguably, in school history. Why should we argue, or why should we even argue, disagree, whatever that you want to say? But why should our input really matter on social media, especially crashing out on kids, when it wasn't even their decision? It was the program's decision. It was the fans' decision to decide to retire their jerseys.